Hi Panthers! Welcome back to another Career and Talent Development webinar. In these virtual times, it is important to know how to best use and behave with virtual tools. The main virtual resource being used throughout FIU for meetings and classes is Zoom. This webinar is meant to help you in virtual meetings, interviews, and networking such as in the Panther Shadows program or in virtual career fairs. My name is Valentina Roldan.
And my name is Mariana Montoya.
And we are career development mentors as well as undergraduate students at FIU. And we will go into some do's and don'ts of using this tool with you. First, let's go ahead and talk about the Zoom do's.
So when you're in a video conference, you should always test the internet connection, the audio, and the video beforehand. You should also be in a quiet office space, instead of a common area where there's people walking by. And lastly, position the device at eye level with your upper body visible, so as to not look down to the camera or be seen from below.
You want to remember to introduce yourself at the beginning of the meeting, if it's the first time, or at least greet everyone. You want to try to look at the camera when talking instead of to the screen. And finally, use your full name in your Zoom registration and make sure that that same name is on your video feed. It can be edited by selecting the three dots on the top right of your video feed once you're in a meeting.
Now we're going to go over the ifs. So if someone walks in and interrupts, you should politely excuse yourself from the meeting and mute or turn off the camera feed. It is understandable if you need to address something at home, so communication with others in your meeting helps make a difference. If you're in a class or group meeting where you are not required to continuously talk, you should also mute your microphone. As a general rule, it is most helpful to stay muted. And lastly, if possible, whether it's a class, interview, or meeting, please have your camera on to show attentiveness.
You want to make sure you have everything you need handy so as to not get up or leave the room or camera area. You also want to wear a full, clean, non-wrinkled professional outfit and make sure that it's both tops and bottoms. Now we're going to go over the Zoom don'ts.
It's important to not multitask, both in the computer or in the physical space. You shouldn't eat during the meeting either. Make sure to not talk over or interrupt other people in the group meeting, and don't talk overly loud. It's not necessary and people can hear you at your normal tone.
You also want to make sure you do not have or do any of these. You don't want to have your video off. If really not possible, use a professional headshot. You also don't want to have a cluttered background, like laundry baskets, a messy room, etc. Finally, you don't want to have a weird or unprofessional background, whether it is a real or virtual background.
And finally, do not be unprofessional on the chat. People do pay attention to it, and it's often saved afterwards by the host, regardless of who you message. Also, do not log out without notice or without saying a proper goodbye. And most importantly, remember that as an FIU community member, the University Code of Conduct still applies. Do not attempt to show, say, or do anything that may sabotage the meeting or go against this code. Most meetings are recorded and you will be reported to be held accountable for your actions and if you do anything of this nature.
That is everything for today, Panthers. Make sure to reach out if you have any questions and remember to apply all of these tips on your next Zoom meeting.